Hello everybody and welcome back to another VOD review. Today there's an interesting twist. We're actually reviewing a Mercy player that actually does flex other things, so I really shouldn't say Mercy player, but we also have a VOD review that is gold and below, which we typically don't do. We've been doing a lot more of those though on the channel, so be ready for some of those because I think there's a lot to learn from those even if you are a higher SR player. But our guest today, if you want to introduce yourself, Possum, go right ahead.
Hi, I'm Possum. Gold-ish Mercy player, mostly. I play a bit of tank, and I reached on a spot, and I fell to silver. So yeah, here we go. Here we are.
So you were plat, fell to silver, and now you're like, I'm very frustrated with the game. Is what you're saying?
I was 2440.
Yeah, pretty much plat. You know, we'll give it to you. But you play a lot of Mercy, so
yeah.
I feel like there are a lot of Mercy players specifically that struggle at lower ranks because Mercy's very much dependent on who surrounds her. But at the same time, there's also things that you can do as Mercy that will really help you in your climb. And it might seem like a little bit of like weird fixes that aren't really true fixes, but nonetheless, in a practical game, practical solutions might be needed. And I also understand that you play a lot of Moira, not a lot, but you play Moira, you play a little bit of Baptiste, you're learning him, and also some Briggs. So you do have other options, so maybe understanding when those other options should be pulled out, that'll help you out a lot. So are you ready to start talking here and get into the VOD?
Yeah.
Okay. Ready. So let's see the comps here. The compositions that we have had hand here is pretty much Brawl on both sides. So the problem with Brawl with Mercy is that Brawl doesn't really get a whole lot out of Mercy. So the thing is with Mercy, what's the biggest plus to in a neutral situation where no one is dying yet? What does Mercy really provide to the team? What changes? What makes her good, and what makes her a pick that should be considered?
Extra damage boost.
Yes, damage boost.
When someone dies.
Yes, damage boost and res are probably the biggest things that make Mercy stand out amongst other supports. Also, her insane mobility, but that's not necessarily standing out compared to like Lucio or another character that can survive a lot better. The thing is with Brawl is that the thing is with damage boost, it needs time. It needs time to really get a lot of value, to get a lot of damage out, to really poke down shields, poke down enemies, and really get them low before you take that engagement. While Brawl is not that at all, Brawl is about closing the distance and getting right on them with a lot of healing so that you can just out-brute force them and then just get a close-range Brawl and clear it out. That being said, you can probably still make Mercy work at this rank. It's just, depending on like the characters you have, it's going to change the way that you play the game. The thing is with Brawl in this situation is that you do actually have a Zarya, so that's going to slow down the composition quite a lot, the Brawl a lot, because D.Va is just a whole lot faster, and you also have a Cassidy, so damage boosting a Cassidy is pretty strong as well. I personally think that damage boosting a Widow is kind of a waste of your time, to be completely honest with you, because you're just going to one-shot squishies anyways. You could do more damage to tanks, but especially in these elos, I just wouldn't trust a Widow as much as I would trust a Cassidy or maybe the Zarya, because what would be a good reason to damage boost a Zarya?
High charge Zarya deals hell ton of damage.
Yeah,
like,
that's true. And with a lot of damage... With a lot of damage, what does that get you?
My ult faster and Zarya's ult faster because it depends on how much damage she makes. It's like 2k damage every ult, right?
It's a lot of it's in ult points. Yeah, it's around probably like 2,000, probably a little more than that. I think it's I don't remember. I have a chart somewhere. But yeah, you're correct. The more damage you do, the faster you're gonna get that ultimate. Nano is used in the same way, except with the Mercy. Nano is not an ability. Nano is an ultimate. Damage boost is an ability. So you can do that realistically whenever. So that's like when you see your Zarya get high charge, that's a good target to damage boost as well. And it makes Mercy a little bit viable even in this composition that's not very good for her. If that makes sense. So understanding that the damage boost targets that you're really looking for. Other things are like when Reinhardt's going to look to Fire Strike. Maybe your Ana found asleep. Maybe your Widow is trying to take down a Reinhardt and she's like the only option left. damage boosting and understanding when to rotate things, that's what's really going to make a difference for you. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
In my opinion, though, I think a better character to play in this situation would have been either the Moira or the Baptiste, because they just generally work better with what you have. It's a brawl on brawl. I think it would work better. That being said, though, there's still probably things that you could learn on Mercy, and that's what we're going to go through today. So let's go through this. Starting off by just damage boosting the Widow. She's not getting a whole lot of value. At this point, I would be looking to see where my team is. Are they walking in? Yeah, they're already taking a fight. Now's my time to just get off this Widow. She's not doing anything. Whatever. A big part of Mercy, and Ladder specifically, a practical response to this, of a practical solution. When my DPS is not doing anything realistically for most of the game, instead of complaining that my DPS sucks, I'm going to find a different person to pocket that might be popping off and supporting them to the best of my ability. So even if it's a good pocket target, if it's not doing anything for you, switching the target might be better in these situations because people aren't always the best. Widow did actually find a pick here. She found two. Okay, so are you duoed with Zoot?
Yeah, no, that was a LFG random team.
Okay, cool. If you're, I mean, Zoot just popped off. So I mean, poggers to Zoot, I guess, but I don't think he needed the damage boost to pop off. It's more so just like the support through healing. That is an aggressive res after you know that the Mei is right there. So this might become a problem. I'm not going to say too much about it, but make sure that the res is clear before you go for it. Early reses are a thing, but the execution there would need to be a lot different. But okay, your Widow popped off, so you won that fight, and you supported your Widow to pop off, so well done.
You wouldn't pick. I wanted to counter him, but
yeah,
he died.
This situation is honestly like, I guess you should be on car? I don't know, this is just your team not being together, so we're just gonna pass that. It's not really important. Alright, now let's see. Alright, yep. I think, personally, you're pocketing the Widow a little too much. In my opinion. Now, maybe I'm wrong, and the Mercy collective is gonna be wrong here with me, but I just think with damage boost with Mercy, it's all about influencing breakpoints, and Widow's already going to be one-shotting people to the head, and she doesn't one-shot to the body with damage boost, unless it's like a mid-fight, to the point where I just think damage boosting your front line a little bit, like when the Fire Strike happens, or when Zarya's getting aggressive, or when Cassidy wants to start getting aggressive with his damage boost, like Flash Fans. I think you're just going to get more value, especially in a brawl comp out of that.
Yeah, at this point I was pocketing him mostly because there was a Junkrat there that they couldn't deal with.
Yeah. I mean, the other thing is, it's like, realistically, your Widow could just ignore the Junkrat. The Junkrat isn't really doing a whole lot. The front line is the one that needs to help here. I mean, your Rein is crit and your Zarya just is about to fall as well. I think, realistically, if you damage boosted the Zarya from the start of the fight, they had a fighting chance. My thing is, you don't want to attach yourself to the hip of a character. You want to make sure you're allocating it to as many things as possible, unless like that character's an Ashe and or an Ashe or a Pharah. Like those are the only ones where I can see, okay, you're allocating this resource only to them. At this point, I'm looking back to see if I can get out. I actually do manage to get out. Cool.
They didn't die much here.
So now you have an Ashe. Now it's okay to like hard allocate resources to this because this is a break point that you're forcing here. It's 195 damage to the head. Damage boost on a Dynamite is huge. But that's not to say that there aren't those situations in which you can damage boost your Reinhardt to get more Shatter Charge and also try to find a grab faster. Like, it's not to say that you have to attach yourself to their hip. It's just that it's a lot more viable to do that. So bam, that's a big Dynamite. I would have probably waited to Valk until your team was actually engaged and ready to start the fight. Like if my Rein was already actively swinging. Because then I get a lot more value out of this ultimate. It's not necessarily, hey guys, let's get in. It's an ultimate to use when the tempo has already been done and the people are already fighting. And then it's an enhancer more than it is an engagement. And this is leaving you in a really exposed position now because we were a little bit early. Our turn, we didn't get a whole lot done with our ultimates, and then they got more done with their ultimates. But you do end up actually getting out of here, which is fine. It doesn't look like you're actively hindering your team. It just seems like you could be helping them a lot more. which is, I mean, I think you could. The thing is, you have to get enough value on Mercy here to, what am I trying to say here? You have to get enough value on Mercy to argue that it's a better pick for you right now than just playing Lucio. So that's really what your goal is here. Not that you're not throwing, that you're just getting more done than you would playing a more optimal character, which would be Lucio in this situation. That's a good start. Yep. Healing our Cass, and now damage boosting Ashe. This is good. You can be a lot more aggressive with this Ashe, and really just people in general. At this point, though, I'm seeing that my Zarya is... Well, no, she's not crit. No, she is crit. That's a different person. I would honestly just be helping my Zarya here, because she's the one that's activated, so she is the one that's going to get the most out of the damage boost. Yeah, at this moment right now, and this is where the fight's happening. I do not even agree with your Ashe flanking here, because by the time the fight's over, she's not really going to get a whole lot done, so...
we got absolutely destroyed there. Actually, just watch.
What's up?
We got destroyed there. It didn't go good, really.
Yeah. The thing is with damage boost is that you just don't want to get tunnel visioned on the same targets. You want to make sure the targets are activated, and if they're activated, the damage boost will get value. And that's the whole idea to think behind all this other stuff. So now my DPS are behind, but I think just making the space... Because realistically... If you damage boost the Zarya here, we're going to think of this instead. If we damage boosted the Zarya here, you guys would have had the opportunity to push this aggression. Instead, we stayed still, which will be denoted by the pink circle, or pink rectangle. We just kind of stayed still and held this position, so that by the time the DPS did flank all the way around and we're here, it's not really an off angle anymore. It's just kind of a hard flank, because the enemy has all this black space right now. And when we drop, we just die. Had it been different, and we damage boosted something else, created that opening, by the time we get here, they have to then push all the way back here, and then my DPS are here with a good angle to force them back even further. That's the effect of what I'm saying. Just so that we understand why that could possibly be a better opportunity to do more. Right there, you're just a little bit too aggressive. Your Ashe is in a pretty bad spot. We didn't set things up. The main thing is... understanding that you want to damage boost what is activated, unless they're going to get there very fast, which they didn't, you know.
Starting over from the beginning.
So, now you have an Echo as well, so you have a lot of options of who to pocket. Damage boost is your best friend, and that's really what you should be looking for. Understand that, like, if your Echo is over here, she's not going to peek for you. She's dead meat. It is her fault. You just need to get back into the fight as quick as possible, because look what's happening up here. So... the moment that Echo disconnects from you, you say, hey, Echo, I'm disconnected. If she's going to keep playing like this and playing aggressive, just try to get to your Ana and support that. Because this Echo has lost you, and you really just need to get back into the fight. She doesn't necessarily even need your help against what they have. So, that's just her dumbness. You're not going to be able to res that. I would just let the junk troll behind. If we see where the actual fight is happening, it's up here. He's trolling. It's at 6v5 if we were all just walking past that.
Can you stop for a second?
Huh?
Well, my quality dropped. Can you... Yeah. Why? Let me just...
Restart the stream?
Yeah. Okay.
Do that. Are we good now?
Yeah, we should be.
Alright, awesome. Do you have any questions?
No, it was pretty clear for now.
Okay.
Maybe I do, because I was playing with Smurfing GMs, and I actually got a free voter review, and they were saying kind of different things, because one of them was saying that I should hard pocket the DPS, because that actually makes a difference. And the other one was saying that I should be around the whole team, so that you're like on the other side, kind of.
So here's the thing. Damage boost, by far, should be allocated to DPS. In a perfect situation, the DPS is good. They're finding places to be activated very often, to the point where most of the time, your damage boost is going to be given to them. So, in a high elo scenario, you don't have to deal with other people's mistakes, so damage boosting is fine. But to its core, the whole idea of damage boost is that you have to allocate it to a target that is activated, step 1, that's actually doing something with the damage boost, and step 2 is if there are a bunch of targets that are activated, which target gets the most out of my damage boost? So both sides of the spectrum there are correct. Because not 100% of the time are you going to be damage boosting. Because not 100% of the time, one, your DPS are going to be alive. Or, okay, damage boosting your DPS. Not 100% of the time are you going to be damage boosting the DPS because they might be dead. Or they might not be activated. They might be low, that you just need to heal them instead. Or they might be going on a flank and don't want that damage boost because they don't want to be spotted. But an Ashe in most situations is going to be playing in a place where she's going to get a lot of value just hitting headshots and getting damage boosts. And it's true. It does make a big difference. A DPS that has damage boost, playing against that as a DPS when your tanks aren't pressuring them out is abysmal. Ashe versus damage boost Ashe, you are never going to win that. It's almost impossible to win that 1v1. And if the team doesn't react, the enemy team, you'll win every single time. But understand that you're playing in silver. These DPS are just playing to shoot things, not understanding where they can set up to be the most active all the time. So it's up to you to understand the thought process behind why pocketing DPS and high elos works all the time. For DPS players, they don't see it this way. These GM DPS players, they don't see it this way because to them, they always get the damage boost. Because they're not even thinking about how they're setting themselves up. They just do it. So does that make more sense?
Yeah.
Like,
Yes.
I'm sure the other guy, when he was like, yeah, damage boost DPS all the time, it makes a big difference. I'm sure he would have no problem if you shifted the damage boost to a hog that just hit a big hook on a tank. Like, I'm sure he would be like, oh yeah, we'll damage boost that too. It's just the way that to think about it. This is the thought process. And the answer is in thoughts, not just, oh yeah, damage boost one guy, or oh yeah, damage boost everyone. Hopefully that makes more sense.
So basically, to sum this up, just choose the target that at this moment has the most value.
Yes.
Potential.
Who is going, like,
Okay.
step 1, who's actually doing something? Because some people just aren't. And the second thing is, who's going to get the most value if weighing everyone that is getting value right now, who gets the most out of the damage boost? So, like, Ashe, if she's taking a 1v1, she gets the damage boost. But if she just won a 1v1, and is just, like, reloading, and my hog just hit a hook in main, I don't need to be damage boosting the Ashe. She's not doing anything. And she's not activated. My hog is. This is a big moment for him. I need to support him. I damage boost him. Bam. I just carried his mercy. You know? So, like, that is what makes good mercy players fantastic. Well, actually, it's what makes good mercy players great. What makes mercy players fantastic is the crazy shit they can do with her movement. I will never be able to touch that. Super jump is all I do and all I need. So, backwards jumping I can pull off a little bit, but some people do it consistently. Skiesti is goated. I don't know. She's nuts. Same with Vale, and all the other mercy players in that community are very, very strong. But anyways, I digress. Unless you have any questions.
No.
Okay. Let's keep going here. So yeah, right here, it's the same idea. He was activated in that situation, so it makes it very easy to win these 1v1s. You're getting a lot of value there. In this moment, though, I would... It's a pretty hard situation. I'm not going to bother you that. I mean, your Ashe is doing a lot for you right now. Ooh, you almost had the super jump, too.
Yeah.
I saw that. That was clean. You actually somehow lived there, though. Yep, we're damage boosting.
Actually threw up there.
Yeah, okay, you're... Like, understand that was a good damage boost because the Ashe is reloading and has used Dynamite, used a lot of the utility, and the 1v1s that they're going to take against the support aren't going to be as fast compared to the Echo that still has stickies. You damage boost that instead, the Echo just got 2 kills with stickies. Like, it's very complicated, but that's the thought process behind it. And if you really want to maximize and min-max your value as Mercy and really win games very consistently, it's the step that needs to be taken. So like in this situation, I think that Ashe is probably the better one because she's coming up on Dynamite and it's a long-range engagement. Oh, she's not coming up on Dynamite. My fault. But still, it's a long-range engagement. Echo doesn't have stickies, and realistically, she's going to have a better time finding the pick. If we're going to get really nitpicky here. But like that's just me trying to illustrate what that thought process is. So yeah, this is my preferred probably damage boost target in this given situation. But now that my Echo is high ground, yep, I'm looking for the Echo and looking to see if she has stickies on the back line. Like, it makes sense when you think about it. It's just that you want to make sure you're not completely ignoring... Yeah, that's a good res. If she didn't have Valk. It's a good res if she didn't have Valk and you call for bubble, but you probably either called for bubble or they didn't, you know. That's just like a big thing with the reses so far for you, or just like making sure it's safe.
I didn't hear her, and I wasn't expecting that she's gonna just dump me. You know, it doesn't happen that often.
Understand? I mean, if there's ever a Valking Mercy, you're not safe. Just keep that in mind. Like, the higher you go, you're not safe. Just keep that in mind. I can see what your problems are as Mercy, though. Like, honestly, your Mercy's not bad. I just think that you need to switch a few things because Mercy's really hard to carry with, to be quite honest, until you get to higher levels. But yeah, so that right there, yep, you support your Ashe, you give her some heals, awesome. Damage boost now. Okay, we're healing, that's good. I'd be going for the, you know what, maybe not go for the res, it's not safe. I probably would have went for it right away and just went around the corner and see if I could get away with it, but it was, that's not what I want you to get out of this, so we're just going to leave that at that. It seems like you're probably going to get held for 2 minutes here because of the time this lasts. Okay. Okay. Maybe trying to super jump res? Nope, we got it.
Like, I can do it, just not consistently, and I'm don't try mid fight in case I don't get stuck.
Yeah, I got you. This is a lot of staggering. I would just be telling my team to just chill, wait for Zarya. Why is the soldier there? Okay, well at least you're damage boosting it. She should win. Nice. Like that's what the guy is saying. Like, it's so important that you damage boost in 1v1s because it just makes it so easy. Like, realistically, that soldier had no chance. No chance at all.
In the problem, there was that junker kept getting behind us and they were all focusing there.
Yeah.
On him. And, like, he was kind of better than my DPS. Not gonna lie, so, yeah, I was slightly feeling there. So.
Possible smurfing moment. Like, definitely a smurfing moment, to be quite honest.
He had, like... all the, like, he had gold bar there and all the fucking stars, so
yeah,
he's either just playing very long time or and bad or just like dropped probably.
Yeah, this is just like your team's kind of yikes. Not saying you couldn't do more, but it just seems like your team needs to like reconsolidate and just think about what we need to be doing here because we're just staggering and we're not staying together, but it is also silver, so.
It was like more cold-ish.
I don't know if Moira's the pick here. Oh, that's it. Aggressive res, we somehow get away with. Okay.
It was overtime, so you know, pretty much to lose. Oh, my voice is dying.
There's probably a lot of things you could have done better there, but
I was surprised I survived that long.
Yeah, you definitely should not have been on cart. I'm not really gonna say anything about that because those fights are just messy as all hell. So we ironed out the fact of the things that you could do better. the damage boost priority is always something you can work on. And also your reses. You need to make sure you're evaluating whether or not you're safe, whether you have utility from your team to help you, you know.
Yeah. Mostly I feel more comfortable when I have duo. Like I had this great Zarya duo like 2 days ago, and they were also bubbling me and asking if I want a bubble. This was very good.
I think duoing as Mercy is very helpful. Very helpful. That being said, you're not always going to have that situation, so just understand that if you feel like you're not getting enough value on Mercy, and that you need to do it yourself, learning a character like Ana or Bap is much better to climb on.
Yeah,
you say you're not good at it?
I have a full aim. I can play Ana.
If you have an alt account, just play Ana. Try it. Try to learn it. Put in Vaxta. I don't know. If you get another one, it might be worth your time. Just understand that there are times in which you might just want to switch if you're trying to solely win the game. If you're just trying to win and be a better Mercy, just improve at Mercy. Like it's more so if you're so hyper fixated on SR, which it doesn't really seem like you are. Maybe try to flex off when it's not working 100%. If you are okay with waiting and learning more, and the SR will come when it comes, and then you'll stay in Masters, you don't have to worry about dropping out, then focus on Mercy and just getting better at her. I mean, it can work really any way. It's just the Mercy road is a lot longer than the road of learning something else.
For now, I just... Sorry.
You're good.
I just kinda wanna end Overwatch 1 with decent SR, so I'm not held back in Overwatch 2 when the SR is gonna transfer, MMR is gonna transfer. So I don't wanna be placed in like silver and more like gold. Gold is gonna be fine because it's like middle ground. It's gonna be good.
Okay. I mean, understand that those are the options that are at hand here. I just want to make sure that I'm transparent in that Mercy's probably one of the hardest supports to climb on, aside from like Brig is pretty hard. Just in lower elos because no one really knows what they're doing with her on your team. Even if you know what you're doing, they don't.
Yeah.
Just keep that in mind.
In silver is very hard because they take tons of damage, just stand in front of someone and take damage, and it's very hard to sustain.
And if that's the problem, Moira also works. You can do a lot of damage on Moira, so it's doable. Just understand that that's the problem.
I was actually wasn't playing Mercy at all until some point, but I felt like I wasn't making an impact as Moira.
And I mean, if you want me to VOD your Moira at some point,
Mercy.
Yeah, I mean, if you want me to VOD the Moira at some point, I could, and maybe help that out. But with Overwatch 2 coming, that might not be the best idea for you.
Yeah.
But yeah, are we good to keep going? All right, let's go. Alright, yep, just damage boosting Echo off the rip. That's fine. I don't agree with the Echo damage boosting top. Why don't we just mines the bottom door? But you do you, Mr. Echo.
I wanted to damage boost on Fire Stripe, and I saw Echo setting up small.
I think Echo is better, honestly. This is the problem. I think Echo is a better damage boost on a spawn.
She got like 6% off of it, but then she didn't do anything. And
well, it's just because she mines the top door instead of the bottom one, so she didn't get anything out of mines. While your Ryan got a lot. One thing, never super jump against Widow in the open space. You will die against good Widowmakers. Never fly like this. Don't do that. Look how easy.
I know.
This would be such an easy shot for the Widow if I can find her. This Widow's just not good to be missing a shot like this. That's like such an easy shot to hit.
I'm not really scared because they weren't good.
Yeah, just understand the more you climb, that they're gonna hit that consistently, and that's gonna lose you games. So keep that in mind when you're against Widows. It seems like you fixed that mistake pretty damn early. So yeah, right here we're just kind of chilling, damage boosting as we see fit. I would just make sure that you don't need to look at this Echo. Make sure that we're looking at Hog and Ryan to see when the animations start for their fire strikes and hooks. so that we're ready to just help them out a little bit more. That's really what I'm saying here, just so that we also know like how low my Ryan is and what's going on in the front line. Because right now this is a moment for me to support Ryan a little faster than I did. Alright, and then my Ryan died because I didn't support them, kind of thing. We didn't understand what was going on in the front line, so we didn't know how we could help. You do get that res off. You do dodge that shatter. But yeah, I think I have a decent idea of like what the closing points are going to be, so I'm just going to see if there's anything different here. Holding this. Okay, that's a good res. The reses are looking a lot better now. Okay, this is one of those situations where I'd be looking at the front line and understanding when it is my turn to Valk. Because my team will always be able to get help from my Valk because I can just fly through this window and then help them there. And also understanding that, like, once the engagement happens, a Valk is very strong here. So I want to see if you actually do end up Valking, because this is a moment where you should Valk. It seems like you're just walking on the flank with the team. Even though they have the visor, I would still Valk it, because you can just force his visor out for your Valk. That was risky. But now we Valk, and it's just a little bit too late because the fight's already done. You've lost tremendous amounts of value because half your team is dead, and then half your team isn't getting damage boost. So now, I'm just looking to get out, maybe. We're staggering incredibly hard. I'm just looking to die. I'm just looking to die. This is bad. Because now you're forcing your team to only get one fight instead of 3. Unless you somehow live this.
We almost leave. At least I, but he decided to tire.
Yeah. I just, that was a bad play because now that you're at that point for free, it's called Snowball. For anyone that understands that reference that might be watching this long into the YouTube video. Okay, but now we got the Pharah. We're damage boosting that. Oh! This dude is just shredding your team. Might be a boost. Hoggy going hard. Movement wasn't terrible. I'm okay with that res, honestly. Behind that. In higher levels, I probably wouldn't get away with that, but yeah.
Well, that's how our fire just fucking fell.
Yeah, I still have an idea for what I'm going to say about this, and for all my Mercy players out there, it's a tough climb. It's really tough. A lot of it could be a coin flip, but there are things that you can do to slightly influence that coin flip in your favor, just like you could with any other character. So, step 1 is that blue beam, the damage boost, and understanding that spectrum. So, answering the questions, who is activated right now? Who is activated? And then the number 2 is, if everyone is activated, who gets the most value? It's not as simple as who is activated or who is good with it. It's a mixture of both. It's a mixture of both in a given situation, which is generally DPS, but understand that that is not 100% of the time. It's more like 85 to 90% of the time. And if you have paper to write this down, I encourage you to do so, because this is very, very helpful to just have out before you play. The second thing would be the reses, and just making sure that you're safe before you res, whether that be with a bubble or defense matrix or shield, or just understanding if there's cover. Making sure that it's a safe res so that you're not killing yourself over it. The other thing is that you want to make sure that you're not staggering a res either. If someone is trying to switch, that you're not resing them, or if the fight is already lost, that you don't give the enemy more ult charge, because that's a very big problem in higher elos. You want to make sure you're avoiding that. Other than that, the movement's fine. To be honest, your Valks, I guess, could be a little bit better, but I think the damage boost is the big thing that you really want to make sure you iron out first. The other thing I would say is just, like, know when to switch. It's sad that that is something that I need to say, because the character is so, like, low impact from a solo carry standpoint at lower levels. It's sad that that's the case, but it is true. Like, knowing when...
It's not a mercy, honestly. I don't want to sweat myself off on Bap or Ana and... Like,
yeah, and like...
be scared that I'm not gonna aim good or some shit.
Yeah. And that's why I'm prefacing this with if you want. If you feel like you just want to take that road, that's fine. Just understand the implications of what that is. Sometimes Mercy just doesn't do anything. Maybe you'd rather play Moira. Like, that's another option. Brig as well. It's definitely doable with the first two things. And that's why this is number 3. You could completely disregard this and not even write it down. I wouldn't care. Just know that if you're trying to purely win, sometimes Mercy's just not best given the situation. I mean, I always talk about this with other support players. When they're trying to hardlock Ana, sometimes BAP is just better. The problem is Ana can get a little bit more value in more compositions, to the point where Mercy is just in a very weird spot. But do you have any questions?
No, it was perfectly understandable. Whatever the word is.
Yeah, no, I understand what you're saying, but okay, if you have any other questions, please let me know. If you've been watching this on YouTube and you're not subscribed, and you've just been watching some random dude that you've never seen before talk about Mercy for 37 minutes, consider subscribing. You know, I really would appreciate that. And maybe leave it a like as well. Also, there's a Discord in the description to meet other players like you've seen today that have very similar interests as you, so, you know, check that out. And thank you all so much for watching, but until next time, I've got to peace out and pass out. I'll see you in the next one.